always do that. I'm a night rider. Every time that I call past midnight, I swear I get higher. Swear I gotta get higher now. I'm a night rider. Every time that I give what I got, I supply that fire. I supply that fire. What's going on, bookworms, and welcome back to another episode of Bookmarks with a Bump. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Cote, aka Bump, endurance runner, Department of Labor certified tool setter, National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer, and an all-around dog. I decided to start a podcast when I was compiling all of these bookmarks of threads, and threads are a series of tweets that are linked together that sometimes go on to tell a story, but more often than not are designed to teach you something. And the whole premise of this podcast was used to flex my personal training muscle. Let's get some fitness advice out to the masses. Let's get some advice about running, mindset, goal setting. And it just developed into me talking about whatever I find interesting, because it's a podcast and you can make it about whatever you want. So where we do focus on fitness and goals and achieving them, more often than not, we get sidetracked, and that's okay. But today we're going to talk about goals because I return victorious. Victorious, did I win anything? Not necessarily. I can't say that I won, but I did win the day. I went out and I got a new personal record in my half marathon time. That's something that I set out to do. It's something that I set out to do earlier this year and failed on, but instead of falling flat on my face and leaving it there, I actually achieved the goal. The last marathon I ran in was 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 50 seconds, something of that nature. And I finished with a chip time of 1:43:10, 7:52. And what a glorious trip it was. As we go through this slideshow, I arrived in Mesquamaket Friday. These are pictures and videos from a walk I took Saturday morning. I spent a lot of time on the beach, spent a lot of time recovering. I think I went into this race the freshest of any of my road races in the recent history. I mean, I've been working diligently on my craft, working on my career, and like I said last week, I decided to reap the fruits of my labor. Saturday, I went out for a nice walk, spent time on the beach. I gatored in the ocean, just swimming and floating around. And you see, here we are in the starting corral. I'm breathing viciously through my mouth. Not a lot of pictures were taken on the race course because it was a rainy day Sunday morning. It was about 60 degrees, 60 to 70 degrees throughout race time. The rain was coming down thoroughly. I mean, this here, what we're looking at is the trek through Watch Hill. This segment of the race here, where you see this lean machine trying to get past me, where you'll see him side-eyeing me at some point where he goes, how is this big-backed motherfucker beating me the way he is? Well, I just dogged it out. For a race pace of 7 minutes and 52 seconds, I exceeded my expectations, and I exceeded all expectations of the race. This section here where it's showing, you can see some people walking by. There's about a 3-mile difference between the people we're passing and us. That is on our way back down through the finish line, which I'm crossing here. It's showing I'm crossing through the finish line at my 1 hour and 43 minutes and 10-second time, just kind of exhaling sighs of relief, because at this point I had to piss so bad. I ran straight through the finish line and found the nearest porta potties before I got food, refueled, anything at all. The urgency to urinate was extreme in this moment, as it is with most moments for me. But I was looking forward to this post-race meal that I went down to Monaghan's in Narragansett, and then I walked along the shore in Narragansett just to kind of recover and recoup. Later on in the evening, as the rain cleared, you could see these views from the hotel. A rainbow appeared into the ocean, just showing you how gay the ocean really is.
Um, the sunset that night was beautiful. It was a beautiful trip altogether, really. I mean, look at this neighborhood. We'll talk about that a little bit. Just the quaint and quiet neighborhoods of Rhode Island. I finished the night with a nice ice cream from Dusty's, and you see Dusty off there in the background. What a beautiful soft serve cone that was. I really treated myself on the day after the race, probably because I was proud of this finishing time and this pace. I mean, my tempo runs were all at 8 minute paces. All I wanted to do throughout this race here was really just push the 8 minute pace and push myself, get back to a position where I was 5, 6 years ago. This beats my personal record in a half marathon of 1 hour and 45 minutes. I'm extremely pumped about that. Um, did I did I see myself beating that time? Yes, I did. Because over the course of the last year, I realized that I'm much faster now than I was when I first started running 6 years ago. Um, there were like little doubts that crept in Friday and Saturday after I recorded the podcast. And when I got out to the hotel in Westerly, I was kind of thinking about how I'm going to pace myself through this race. And I did exactly what I set out to do. I did not come fired out of a cannon. I stayed around the Pacers for the first 3 or 4 miles or so. And that's when I faced some adversity. I pushed out in front of the pacing team a little bit when we headed into Watch Hill. It was just beautiful, and we were heading downhill, and I've developed this system to get down hills with the least amount of resistance, where I'm kind of just floating. I'm opening up my stride length a bit, and I'm floating down the hill, not propelling myself that much, just kind of using my feet to stay on balance. And that helped me out downhill a few points there in Watch Hill, and helped me preserve the energy to get back up the hills we had to run. Like I mentioned before, not a lot of elevation. So when we reached these gradients, I was able to continue at the same exact pace that I was running at on flat land. The biggest resistance and adversity came when I stepped in a puddle around 4 miles in, and the insole of my shoe crept up through my heel on my right foot. Uh, that, for me, provided a bunch of uncomfortability. I wasn't really too sure what was going on. I knew my foot felt a little weird. My toes were my toes were hitting the bottom of my shoe a little hard. And when I looked down after the race, I saw how my insole had crept up, and I thought to myself, well, I didn't really tie them that tight. Um, Nonetheless, heading into the race, like I said, I was very fresh, and I used those moments of uncertainty to kind of just do what I needed to do, and that's prime myself. I spent a lot of time on the foam roller, and I spent a lot of time on the ball, rolling out my feet, just kind of stretching and preparing. And Saturday was just a big day of rest. I spent so much time on the beach. The I didn't have any pictures from Saturday after I went for my walk. I kind of just closed my phone, listened to the college games, and sat down sat down by the ocean and soaked up the sun. Spent time in the salt water, and I think just being in the ocean helped prime my legs a little bit to get ready to swim through that course. The rain, I mean, the rain didn't bother me much at all. If anything, it might have helped me feel cool throughout the run. Um, it probably helped me feel cool. I think I probably would have been performing better with better conditions. The wet ground, going through turns, you kind of slow down a little bit. The wet ground, wanting to avoid puddles. You don't want to step in those puddles, because when you do, that opens you up for blistering and all of these other ill effects that take place throughout these races that I've been able to avoid for the most part, except for in the Mystic Half. The Mystic Half, I really did a number on my feet, and I think that was just due to gear. I was super geared up, and I was just not running as free. I was running hard. This race felt very comfortable. I felt very comfortable throughout it, and I maintained my pacing throughout the whole race. As you see here, my average pace was 7:52 a mile. There was a mile, and there were a couple learning lessons there. And we'll go over the lessons before we head into what's next. But that 7:52 pace was pretty constant aside from miles 7 and 8. And after the 6 mile, I ran up on somebody. Well, actually, somebody ran up on me. I had noticed that they stopped a little while before that, and I had ran past them, and they caught back up with me, and I was like, "Good to see you back on the horse." Uh, and he said, "Yeah, I got to get out there, blah, blah, blah." We just had that little runner talk back and forth, that little small talk, and then we just carried on a conversation. I found out he was from Manchester. He found out I was from here in Bristol. We talked about our next race, and we talked about our goals moving forward. And we had a conversation for about a mile, and I think that might have been a little too much talking for me. Even though I was able to maintain that pace while talking, it had an effect in the next mile after, where I slowed down considerably, probably 10 to 15 seconds for that 1 mile's pace, which the timing of that really wasn't too convenient because it was a flat portion of the race where I would have been able to push myself a little bit more like I did towards the end. But we went over the track, and you start in Misquamicut, you run up through Watch Hill, there's a couple hills there, then you run flat back through Misquamicut, up through Weekapaug, where there's a couple hills there. And after those hills in Weekapaug on the way down, I just felt like this is the finish. The last 3 miles or so, after you see the overlook in Weekapaug, you just get to really soak everything in. And that I certainly did. It's a lonely stretch. You're passing people who are 4 or 5 miles behind you, and you're looking at them and how tuckered out they seem as you are running towards your finish, and you are just as tuckered out, if not more. And to see those people with 5 miles left can be a little bit dejecting, but to me, I was like, okay, it's time to finish this thing. Ran through the finish line, no problem. No sprint on this one. I preserved myself a lot. This was more about constant pacing. And the all-out finish will come in the Hartford Half Marathon, where it's a flashback for me. That was my first ever half marathon that I ran in 2019. I finished it in an hour and 45 minutes with, a lot of naivety to training for these types of things. So I'm excited to see how I'll finish in that race with a good schedule under my belt, with a half marathon finished 5 weeks beforehand. Yesterday, today's Tuesday, by the way. I got some extra time off work here, so I'm taking advantage of that. And I wanted to come in fresh and give you all the insights of the race. But man, it's so good to be back. It's so good to be successful in this endeavor. I felt very dejected after the Mystic Half Marathon, but to come back and have a comeback story like this, I mean, it's kind of just the story of my life. Did I medal? I wanted to medal in the Clydesdale, but apparently we had one heck of a crew of big boys out there, because I finished 6th out of the 27 Clydesdales that signed up for the race. I finished in the top 100 of males, and I finished at 115 overall out of 959 half marathon participants. So I chalked that up to a good outing for my third ever half marathon, and the second one of the year. Right back to training. Yesterday, Monday morning, I went out for a 4-mile easy run. Everything felt good. I do have a little hampering in my right calf, but I can only assume that's just from dogging it out. Every horse gets dinged up when they're out there on the track. What makes me any different? I'm just like everyone else. I'm just like every other horse out there trying to run. My legs aren't broken yet, so don't turn me into glue. So right now it's Tuesday morning, keeping the body warm. Spent a lot of time I did a sauna yesterday when I got back to town. I did a soak in the salt bath, foam roller, massage gun. This morning, woke up, spent some time on the foam roller, rolled out all the aches and pains, and I'll head out to do a sprint workout after I record this podcast here, and before you know it, the Hartford half will be right around the corner. It'll be race day yet again. Uh, as always, please follow along in the description. You could follow along my training in Strava, as well as follow along with the links for all the tweets of all the threads that we'll go over. This week we have some threads to go over before we get back into football. Will the threads be as plentiful as they are in other episodes? Only time will tell. It's a busy part of the year. We got a lot going on, and we got a lot we got to get into. So, without further ado, I'll bring to you the first thread of the day, and this one's by J Mac, who puts out Fat Loss for Dads. What a generous guy. He's really doing the Lord's work, because everybody knows these dads need to lose some fat, right? So, the 10 best exercises to build a big back. And I think that's something that's pertinent for this big back thread being part of this episode. Was my big back was a target for a lot of these runners. I get comments a lot when I'm out there, especially when I'm pacing the way I am. Oh, it's crazy that you run like this. What a physique to be running like this. And yeah, they really toot my horn for me, so I don't have to toot my own. But part of that is having a big back. And let's go over the 10 exercises that J-Mac says to build a big back. And the spoiler alert is that the bent over barbell rows are trash and didn't make the cut. Dun, dun, dun. And I can see that. It's a compound lift, though. You got to have the compound lifts to engage the core. But these are the precursors, sorry. This is just my opinion. Get offended if you wish. Okay, first of all, I like J-Mac's Moxie. I wouldn't include all of these in the same training program. Number 3 is that they're not in any particular order. And number 4, we're not friends if you think barbell bent over rows should have made the cut. Just kidding. Number 1 is pull-ups, and they're God tier for a reason. You know you're getting strong when you can do 10 plus slow and controlled reps with full range of motion. The best test of strength comparative to body weight. And I mean, there's no way around that. As you see in this demonstration here from this prisoner, who's not getting a full range of motion. He's not getting full extension on the way down. However, he is really cranking them out. To pull your body weight up with just your arms and back is a significant feat. If you can't do a pull-up, don't be alarmed. Don't be concerned. If you can't do 10 plus, also don't be alarmed. I believe I can only do 14 or 15 at this point at 206 pounds. It's not an easy exercise to do. So once you get to do one, feel the success and build off of that. Number 2 is a chest-supported seated row. The far superior alternative to barbell bent over rows. You can't change his mind. Not a lot of context there, but I think that as the more you isolate your engagement muscle when you're exercising, the better workout, the better engagement rate, the better gains you'll get from that. So I do. If your intent is to build a big back, I do agree with this, because the barbell bent over rows is just overall strength. That's using a lot of compound strength. That's using your core engagement. It's using your whole body to do the lift. Number 3 is the lateral pull down. Pretty much anyone who's ever lifted weights has used this. Most don't use it properly. It's still an elite exercise. I can't speak. My tongue has been running since Sunday. The lateral pull down it's a great exercise for your lats to build that wide back that you're looking for. Number 4 would be your T-bar row, another far superior alternative to barbell bent over rows. Again, you can't change his mind, and again, it has to be due to the isolation of the exercise. The lat pullover machine, not massively common, but a great exercise to hit the lats. Lat pullovers are Excellent. You could lay down with a dumbbell over your head, like so, on the bench, and lift like that. You really feel the width and the engagement of extra muscle fibers inside of the lats as you do it. Single arm cable pull down, great movement to put full focus on the target muscles. Handy to balance out any imbalances too. Yes, doing isolated single arm movements are great to help you build strength in weaker areas. Number 7 are face pulls, a great exercise to improve your posture. He's demonstrating them here. If you follow along with me on TikTok, you've seen my easy bar face curl demonstration where I take it away from the cable, which puts your shoulders in a little bit of a risky position. And I use the easy bar to do these face pulls. I just like the way you engage the muscles more. Number 8 would be shrugs, the best exercise to hit your traps up in the top here. Also great for shoulders as well. Number 9 is your RDLs and SLDLs, single leg deadlifts. I know these are primarily leg exercises, but they're also fantastic for hitting the lower back, your erector spinae, and way better than conventional deadlifts. And this is true because conventional deadlifts are more of an explosive movement. This does target the hamstrings more, and this does put that strain, but that muscle engagement in your lower back if you do it with a flat back as shown in the demonstration here. Number 10 would be hyperextensions, another great exercise to hit the lower back. Something weirdly enjoyable about these, and those final few reps are a grind where you're supporting your body weight with your erector spinae, the muscles that run along the spine of the back, which are important to grow and important to stay strong. Altogether, I mean, if you're not supposed to do 10 exercises targeting one muscle group, so take a bit of those, scramble them up a bit, and spread them throughout the next few months of your workouts, and see how they do for you. What we have next is a thread by Ashley Richmond. Ashley Richmond seems like she's an important lady. So what is she talking about? Well, she's a 6-time national representative athlete, and she spent the last decade studying the most effective system for burning muscle and losing fat. Don't waste the next 10 years trying to figure this out. In the next 3 minutes, she'll show you how to completely transform her body. So let's become robots in disguise here. Transformers. Losing weight and building muscle are simple. The problem is most people don't stay consistent for long enough to see results. I'm going to lay out the exact step-by-step plan she uses with her clients to achieve results like these. Follow the plan and you will see results. Let's see here. Number 1 is something. Drink coffee. Coffee is a fat loss cheat code. It'll help you burn fat through a few different mechanisms. Number 1 is fat mobilization. Drinking coffee helps fat move out of storage and into the mitochondria, where you can use it as a fuel source. Number 2 is fat oxidation. Drinking coffee stimulates the metabolism and increases metabolic rate to oxidize, burn fat. Number 3 is increased adrenaline. Caffeine stimulates the release of adrenaline, and adrenaline leads to fat oxidation. Number 2 would be eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Protein is crucial for optimizing body composition. You need to eat at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. How do you eat this much protein? Well, you aim for 30 to 40 grams per meal or snack through fish, eggs, meat, yogurt, whey, or cottage cheese. Number 3 is time-restricted eating. Eat all of your calories within a 12-hour or less window each day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Don't eat outside of this. TRE will accelerate your fat loss by letting your body tap into its fat stores and giving your digestive system a break. Number 4 would be to avoid seed oils. We hear about this a lot these days, and why? Because seed oils are highly inflammatory and are destroying your health. Our bodies haven't evolved to effectively deal with these heavily processed foods. They clog up our metabolism and make it hard for our bodies to tap into their own stored fuel sources. Number 5 would be morning fasted cardio. During fasted cardio, your body has minimal stores of available energy, glycogen, from the foods you eat. Your body needs to tap into energy stores in the body. You will burn up to 20% more fat than you would if you had eaten beforehand. Number 6 is to get 7 hours of high quality sleep. When you don't get enough sleep, your hormones will be out of whack, leading to increased hunger and junk food cravings. Your body is also way more likely to hold on to fat and is going to struggle to build muscle without that sleep. 7 is to drink 3 liters of water. Hydration is crucial. If you want to transform your body, you need to be drinking at least 3 liters of water a day. A perfect demonstration of how to drink water. Drinking water will ensure your body is functioning optimally, and it'll help you stay on track with your nutrition. All right? Number 8 is to walk 10,000 steps per day. If you want to transform your body, you will need to walk more. Walking 10,000 steps a day might be the highest return on investment habit in this list. This one habit can dramatically improve your ability to lose fat and will improve your energy, mood, and productivity too. Maybe that's why I performed so well in the half marathon, all the walks I took beforehand. Number 9 is to eat single ingredient foods. You need to eat high quality foods to lose weight. By prioritizing single ingredient foods, you will make massive progress on your goal. Eat these foods 80% of the time and be flexible with the other 20%. Number 10, lift weights 3 times a week. Lifting weights is key if you want to lose fat. Loading your muscles burns a lot of fat, increases your metabolism, and improves your muscle mass, which will lead to you burning more calories at rest. Number 11, minimize alcohol consumption. It wrecks your sleep, sabotages your weight loss efforts, and leads to many other unhealthy habits. Stick to an allocated 1 to 2 drinks per week maximum. Plan ahead and find alternatives so you don't give in the moment. Number 12 is to do high intensity interval training 1 to 2 times a week. High intensity interval training, or HIIT, is another great tool for fat loss. It involves exercising at a high intensity for a short period of time, followed by a period of rest. This can be anywhere from a 3 to 1 or a 1 to 3 work-rest ratio. Eat healthy fats, because fat doesn't make us fat. We need fats. Our cells are made up of this vital macronutrient. But the majority of fats we consume are not good fats, and this is where the problem lies. You got to prioritize eggs, avocados, fatty fish, and fatty cuts of meat. 14, measure and track progress. You need objective data to make sure you're making progress. Measure your body weight, your lifts in the gym, and your waist circumference. As soon as you see you've made progress, your motivation will skyrocket. 15 is to manage stress, because stress is an overlooked aspect of body transformation. Cortisol, our stress hormone, disrupts insulin activity and leads to weight gain. Prioritize stretch management and include de-stressing practices in your day. Number 16 is to not snack, because frequent snacking leads to greater fat gain due to the body remaining in fat-making mode from the constant influx of food. We talk about this a lot, insulin resistance. This is what they're talking about when they say don't snack. You need to allow your insulin to come up, do what it needs to do in your metabolism, and then come back down. So you want to avoid eating in between meals. This allows your fat-making processes to switch off and your body to start burning stored fat again. And number 7 is to stay consistent. Great results come from great consistency. You need to be following this roadmap on a daily basis. Get into the habit of showing up for yourself day in and day out, no matter how you're feeling. Don't rely on motivation to get the work done. And that's your roadmap to staying in shape. Stay consistent. Take action daily. You will be rewarded. I think this is great. All of these threads today are kind of they're kind of relative to coming back feeling successful after a race, coming back and beating a goal, coming back and setting a new personal record. All of this is done by staying consistent. Staying focused on training, and staying focused on the way that I'm fueling myself. I always eat And we always talk about this, the gram of protein per pound of body weight. We always talk about that. We always talk about not eating in between meals. These are things that are constants when it comes to staying in the best shape that you could possibly be in. And being in the best shape that you could possibly be in is something that can make you unrecognizable. And sometimes when you look in your past and you look at who you were or the mistakes you made, you want to become somebody different. And I think over the last 6 years, that's truly what I've done. And let's see if I have a thread here by the Psych Wizard that could help you do the same as well. The Psych Wizard put out a thread, and for the next 6 months, he's telling you to become addicted to these 7 habits. You'd be unrecognizable by 2024. That's a while ago, so this is obviously one of the first threads that I ever bookmark. Number 1 would be waking up at 5 a.m. Hey, waking up early means you're already ahead of everyone else. Waking up earlier gives you more time to work out, plan your day, work on business, and be more productive. It's a huge life hack and gives you more time to achieve your goals. Number 2, take a 30-minute walk in nature, because nature is proven to help you get rid of anxiety, increase your happiness, improve your mood. It's one of the best hacks for improving your day. Number 3, writing down your thoughts before bed. A little journaling, why don't you? Writing before bed will improve your quality of sleep. Here's what you can write down: your goals for tomorrow, what you're grateful for, and any negative thoughts. This will improve your mental health dramatically. Number 4, spend 1 hour a day exercising. To have good mental health, you have to have good physical health. 3 exercises that have the best results are running, swimming, and lifting weights. These will strengthen and tone your body fast. Number 5 is to sit in silence 10 minutes a day. To have a good mental health, you have to also have good physical health. Wait, I already did that. This guy fucked up. Spend 1 hour a day exercising was number 4, and sit in silence 10 minutes a day. Meditate, man. That's what it's all about. Just meditating and being locked in, being centered, being grounded. Ground yourself, spend some time outside. What was cool over the last few days was just kind of listening to the ocean, not having anything in my headphones, and walking by the ocean and listening to the waves crash on the beach. That was pretty cheesy. That was pretty enlightening. But we'll move on to number 6, and that's create a proper sleep schedule. Sleep is essential for you, for your performance, for your mental health, and reducing stress and improving your mood. Do this for deep and quality sleep. Turn off the screens 2 hours before bed. Don't eat 2 hours before bed. Make your room a little bit cooler and use these blackout curtains. 7, learning an online skill 30 minutes a day. With inflation rising and taxes rising, an online skill will save you financially. Don't let a free advertisement come across your podcast. I got you. That was convenient to do the inflation thing last and kind of put their business out there. Sometimes I get duped, and moving forward, this is why we're cleaning out all of these old threads. Let's be honest. We're trying to clean out all the advertisements, and the quality of threads are going to improve as the podcast moves on. What my eagle eye is seeing in the algorithm these days, it's much different than these days, but it's so funny how it always comes back around full circle, because here we are fresh off a half marathon, talking about what we did to get here, the steps we took to improve our fitness, and boom, everything that we're talking about today is about fitness. And this last thread here I think is important because it's about a little bit of mobility. Now, it does pertain to golf. Here we are, we're back with Fit for Golf by Mike Carroll. He puts out a thread here that says Golf Flex. This is a 5 exercise mobility routine designed with laser focus to meet the demands for the swing. But your mobility and what you do daily for your mobility lasts a lot throughout life. So he's got a video here where he's demonstrating just flexing out the hips, which is important for people who sit all day as well. Flexing the back, flexing the hips. using this stick behind you to kind of get more flexion and torsion, which pertains to your golf swing. But I think the stronger our hip muscles will be, the stronger our core and torso can be, the better our day-to-day life can be. So he's going back into the backswing, finding his peak in rotation, finding a spot that he can put that stick to give himself something to flex back on, and he's flexing his hips back towards the front of the swing to kind of give himself a little bit more strength there. Mobilization, mobility work. Mobility work is important just as much as flexibility, stretching. All of these things are important when it comes to lowering your risk of injury, injury prevention, especially as we age. It's important to focus on mobilization and flexibility, as well as just strength and lean mass on your body. These are all things we need to have a successful life full of longevity. And I think all of those different things that we talked about in these threads, sprinkled throughout, all have a little piece in why I had a successful Sunday. And we can talk about a successful Sunday because not only did I run in the Surftown half marathon, collect another half marathon finishing medal to go next to my gold, bronze, and silvers. We had a successful football Sunday. Week 1 of the NFL season is done. And let's just run through it real quick, okay? So I came on here. I put the podcast out Sunday morning. I told you that the Chargers would win. What did they do? The Chargers win. Xavier Worthy got smoked by Travis Kelce in friendly fire. Justin Herbert was throwing darts, throwing for 300 yards, proving that Jim Harbaugh's love for him, since he... that proves Jim Harbaugh's love for him, since he refrained from running the ball, which is something Jim Harbaugh loves to do, is just pound the rock. The Chargers got away from the run early because the Chiefs seemed like they were stopping it, but there was no stopping Justin Herbert, who was slicing and dicing through the Chiefs' defense. The Chargers win on Friday night in Brazil. The Patriots lose. There were way too many penalties on the offensive line, and a sloppy game overall in the rain. Drake May found Stephon Diggs for some key plays late in the game, but it looked like his confidence took a hit after he threw that first interception. Geno Smith took advantage of every single mistake a secondary without Christian Gonzalez made throughout that rainy day, and the Raiders emerged victorious. Another offensive line that had woes were the Lions. They looked terrible without Frank Ragnow. I think that's one thing that might have been overlooked. I said the Lions would win. I completely forgot that they were playing without the heart and soul of their offensive line, who retired in this offseason. They only rushed for 46 yards, which is definitely uncharacteristic of the Lions, and Micah Parsons made an immediate impact. Aside from getting a sack, he helped Rashawn Gary and the rest of the defensive line get to Goff 4 times, while Jordan Love would find every single receiver with gloves on, completing 16 passes to 10 different receivers. And the Packers win that one in Lambeau Field. The Buffalo Bills and the Ravens put on an absolute show. Game of the year already, week 1. Derrick Henry ran for 160 yards. He's the real deal. Zay Flowers, he's the real deal. Lamar Jackson, do we even need to ask any questions? But then James Cook, he had 100 yards from scrimmage. Keon Coleman is a number 1 wide receiver, and Josh Allen is a cowboy riding into any dusk. It does not matter. They come back down 15 with 4 minutes left and pull off the comeback thriller of a lifetime in the last opener at the last opener at Orchard Park, the last home opener in that stadium. They win in one hell of a comeback. One thing to look about the Bills here is their duo of tight ends, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, who are just 2 overlooked talents. They might be on an overrated, underrated phase, where last season, looking into that, after they drafted Dalton Kincaid, it was like, oh, this team's about to do some serious damage, and they were quiet throughout the year, and they made some immediate impact on Sunday night. Last night, Caleb Williams looked great early, and he rushed for his first career touchdown. But J.J. McCarthy woke up finally in the fourth quarter, found Justin Jefferson, found Aaron Jones for touchdowns, and then he ran one in himself to give the Vikings a comeback victory in Soldier Field, which was so loud when Caleb Williams was having success early. The Vikings found a way to win, like they have seemed to do over the last few years. But moving forward next week, I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the case. Thursday Night Football this week was the Commanders and Packers. It was a great game. I haven't looked into that one too much, so I'm not going to really give it too much thought, and it'll be out by the time the episode's out. So Jaden Daniels and Jordan Love dueling, that should be a fun game to watch. But when it comes to Sunday, you got to give me the Eagles over the Chiefs on that game of the week. The Chiefs got picked apart by Justin Herbert and were extremely bothered by the pass rush, and the run game was just stalled too. They couldn't really get much off on the Chargers at all. And the Chargers line is considerably worse than Philadelphia. Unless Roger Goodell is trying to tee up a Kansas City win here, I'm looking to see Jalen Carter come back to the field after getting ejected from the last game before playing a play and really making an impact in this game. He'll figuratively spit all over the KC offensive line, give Mahomes a ton of trouble, and Jalen Hurts will just be methodical like he was last Thursday. You got to give me the Pats over the Dolphins. Both teams need to win real bad. Both teams got their asses kicked, but the Dolphins got their asses kicked worse. Sunday, I'll take Sunday Night Football. I'll take the Falcons over the Vikings. Penix looked really good against the Buccaneers, who are a tough defense in that NFC South. They almost won that game. They lost a close one. McCarthy did look frazzled in his start against the Bears. The first two drives, he took 2 sacks on third down, which is an absolute no-no. As a quarterback, you can't do that. You either got to throw the ball out or be more decisive with your decision-making, and he just didn't. It seemed like he wanted to tuck and run more than he was able to as the pass rush closed in on him. But they did win that game. If the Falcons can bring the same style of game like they did against Tampa, they should get a win here. We have a doubleheader on Monday. Monday Night Football, 2 games. The Bucks bring the pressure to the Texans. They play a similar style of ball to the Rams, who the Texans fell to this Sunday. So I think that the Buccaneers are just on a path to glory with this story here with Baker Mayfield. Just a crafty veteran at this point in his career and a real leader that the team is rallying behind. Emeka Egbuka looked amazing. 2 touchdowns in his first game out of Ohio State, kind of looking like he's still playing for Ohio State. It just looked easy for the rookie out there. So give me another Buccaneers win here on Monday night. And then you have an AFC West showdown between the Raiders and the Chargers. And this one's a tough game to call. One thing that's clear about it, though, is that the Raiders have a game wrecker and Max Crosby. Okay? But the Chargers defense doesn't really have much of a drop-off without Joey Bosa on their line. Derwin James still bringing a ton of heat. One of the best blitzing safeties in the league. But I believe, moreover, in the marriage between Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. They look like they're ready to take the next step this year and find some success in the playoffs. And one thing they're going to have to do that is win these big games. They won Friday night primetime. Why can't they win Monday night primetime against the Raiders? They don't need to rely on defensive mistakes like the Raiders were able to do on Sunday against the Patriots. They just make the most of their reps, and that will be the difference in the Chargers winning this game and finding success. The whole impotence of this episode is consistency and success. If these teams can be consistent with their tendencies, I think they can find success. And if I can be consistent with my training, I think I can find success. And, it's 9:30 in the morning here. I'm getting close to my feeding window, so I'm going to go out and do my sprint workout before I eat and get right back on the horse. Consistency and finding success is what this is all about. And that's what I'm trying to do here today. If you need help finding consistency and success, you can email me at bookmarkswbump@gmail.com for help with online personal training. You can find me on TikTok for exercise demonstrations or different views and videos of my workouts. You can also find me on Strava. Just look me up, Sean Cote. I'll be that guy running in Bristol. But other than that, all I can really say as I wrap it up is it's all love and God bless. I always do that.
I'm a night rider. Every time that I call past midnight, I swear I get higher. Swear I gotta get higher now. I'm a night rider. Every time that I give what I gotta supply that fire.